Blog Talk Radio.
Please take all the necessary precautions to protect your constitution while listening to this broadcast. 3, 2, 1. Coming to you live via the internet. It's time for Rage Against the Regime. Let's get ready to rumble! Finally, a show for patriots, defending the Constitution and uncovering the truth at every turn, bringing you exclusive interviews and covering the topics the mainstream media doesn't dare to touch. Call in and join the discussion at 929-477-3565. That's 929-477-3565. And now, here are your hosts, Bobby Who's the Man and Becky Williams. Rage Against the Regime.
I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We had a little bit of technical difficulty there. I'm sorry for the delay. Bobby, are you there?
I am. Now I can. I was talking to myself. Wow, that's pretty weird. Welcome to Rage Against the Regime podcast, everybody. And I am your host, Bobby Who's the Man. Along with me today is Becky Williams and Z-Man. It's kind of a weird thing. We cannot do a damn podcast without there ever being an issue. Okay, and when you called me and told me that you couldn't get in or you couldn't get on the show or whatever, I tried. I've been actually trying for about 10 minutes to get into the studio, and it did not allow me in. So, of course, I was a little bit perturbed, mad, pissed off, so on and so forth. And now I'm sitting here, and I'm still trying, and it wouldn't allow me to get in. So I'm actually glad that you were able to bring it up, and all that madness goes away. So welcome aboard, you two, and, hopefully things will get better here. Today we have Blaine Cooper joining us. I'm not sure if Blaine is actually on with us yet. Because, I really don't know anything. I'm just, because I'm just kind of stepping into the scene here.
It's just
do you know if you have him? Huh?
Bobby, it's you, me,
yes.
Z-Man. Keith just rang in. Jim's sitting on hold. Keith's on hold. I've got you, me, and Z-Man. I do not have Blaine Cooper.
Okay, well, Blaine Cooper is supposed to be joining us. I just actually sent him a message a few minutes ago saying, hey, call into the show. He sent me his phone number, and I'm wondering if he wants me to actually, to call him, which would not be a good situation for me right now because my phone is damn near dead. I've been trying to do everything possible to have this thing charged all day. And that's not the case right now. My phone is damn near dead. So I don't really know what to do. I'm going to try to go. I think I'm just going to try to go back onto Facebook and see if I can actually get in touch with him because I did send him messages and, kind of like reminders all day today about the show and, trying to make sure that we get him on. And make sure that he had all the information and everything so there's no confusion as to, the show and everything else. So that's about that. We have, a ton of stuff going on right now, but, of course our main thing is to have Blaine on. Blaine is actually online right now, so let me send him another message. He will be calling from, hang on, I'm just going to give out, of course, the area code and all that. a 928 number.
All right, it's not on the board yet, but I'm hoping we'll see it pop up here in a minute. Hey, Bobby, while we're
Yes.
brother, I really have some concern about what's going on with this whole Cuba thing. You know, it's probably going to take somebody that's got a little more knowledge. I haven't had time to do the research, but this isn't about lifting the embargo. You know, we have to remember there has to be some monetary or some kind of gain for America for us to take the cuffs off of the Castro pigs, and then of course there's the swap with the 3 terrorists that he did again for one of our so-called operatives. So I'm a bit concerned about maybe the deeper implication of what this is going to have effectively on Americans and America, and what in fact is the strategy that they have put in place for this to occur. You know, that waterway is a very valuable, as much as the Panama Canal, it's a very valuable waterway strategically, not only for import-export, but I would think that has something to do with some type of military strategy that may be used for. What do you think on that, brother?
You know, I don't really know what the hell their plan is and what their whole intentions are. But did you ever hear that old term, keep your friends close and your enemies closer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the situation that we have right here. You know, there is a lot of stuff besides cigars that is produced in Cuba, okay? And they sell items from Cuba the way that they do from China. It's very, very inexpensive, okay?
Right.
And the craftsmanship, I mean, it's probably not as good as, you know, you can get from other places, especially from the United States. But my whole thing would be maybe that's what they're trying to do, is maybe they're trying to, you know, try to do some kind of trading embargo, especially, come on, we have a communist trader in the White House, okay?
Yeah.
So why not deal with communist people and just keep the ball rolling? I mean, what's the difference? Seriously, what's the difference?
It still doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, we can get our sugar from anywhere. I know they're a big they produce
Right.
a lot of sugar, and we've been doing so for years, so it can't be the sugar. As far as agriculture, they have nothing to give us as far as agriculture goes. So one would have to ask themselves, what the hell is really up? What's behind this? And I would bet my life we're about to find out.
Well, according to what I saw on the news earlier today, their whole thing is that they're using this whole thing as an excuse to be able to get people who are using Cuba as asylum from the United States because we can't extradite them. So supposedly this is all to be able to extradite people who are considered enemy combatants of the United States who are hiding in Cuba.
Well, I know that that's true. I mean, you know, some of the people that are militants and stuff that are over there, I mean, they have some pretty badass combatants and stuff. I mean, I've watched some videos of like it was like documentaries from, you know, soldiers from around the world, you know, and how they train and stuff like that. And those guys, those guerrillas from Cuba, are actually some pretty badass dudes.
Oh, I believe it. You know, even though these people are communists, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that one of the leading people when it comes to innovations in medical science is Cuba.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you're sick, you go to Cuba. If Americans could get one of the best cares they possibly could get, that's closest to America, I would go to Cuba if I could, because there are people from all over the world who are allowed to go to Cuba who basically can, like, there are people who have had terminal cancers, terminal illnesses that doctors here in America couldn't treat, and they made complete recoveries by going to Cuba and being treated there. So
yes,
again,
you're correct.
I love America, and I don't like to admit that we aren't the best at everything, because that's just the way we're raised as Americans, is to have pride in our country. But you know what? There's a lot of things that we can take from other countries that we could really lead by their example. I mean, we're not even rated as number one as the happiest population in the world.
Right.
I believe it's Norway.
Oh no, you're absolutely you're absolutely correct. I mean, they do work on they do medical procedures that the United States doesn't find to be within their guidelines per se. But I mean, Germany there's another country that does medical procedures that are known to cure certain cancers and do things that the United States say that they weren't able to do and it was not possible, and it couldn't be any further from the truth.
See, there's a lot of things that our FDA and ATF and everything else suppress. Supposedly, there's this man. He suddenly disappeared off, out of the limelight, so to speak. But he ended up. I remember watching him on an infomercial late at night, and he was talking about how he said, "I'm probably going to get arrested after this interview." He said, because it was a live interview. He said, but the FDA suppresses drugs that they cannot make a profit off of, and this is where I learned the term. He said this. I was very young when I saw this. He said if the pharmaceutical companies were out to cure a disease, they'd be out of a job, and it's absolutely true.
Right.
So the whole point here is the pharmaceutical companies in our country aren't here to make us better. They're here to cover our symptoms so that they can string us along on their freaking prescription heroin, basically. And that's what another thing. Anybody?
They're here to make us sick, bro.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I've been told by multiple people that there are supposedly cures for there are supposedly cures for things like herpes and things that are supposedly incurable diseases, but they come from other countries where the herbs and whatever they need to use are only found in these other countries, and our country won't import it because it would put all these pharmaceutical companies would lose money by bringing in these drugs that would completely cure these chronic ailments.
Hey, Becky.
Yeah.
I have some breaking news. I want to break this news, and I want to do it very carefully. Okay? I sent you a copy of it. I sent you a text message from the original thing that was sent to me. I do not know how much of this is the truth, but every patriot that I know has sent me this. Okay? Every big-time patriot that I can think of has sent me this. Okay? Blaine Cooper is also allowing this to be on his wall. Okay? So, what it boils down to is this. There's accusations going around right now, and I'm just going to call them accusations for the time being, because like I said, I don't know what's true 100% and what's not true. The only thing that I can say is this. Every one of you that are patriots, and you have patriot pages and everything else, you must be careful of who you let into your world. Now, there's accusations over somebody that's a patriot. He is in a group of patriots. He hangs out with Blaine and Manny and and all them. He was part of the Bundy Ranch. He's actually, to my understanding, until the last couple days, I've seen this for the last couple days, but now, today, there has been something that was leaked that had intel on the paperwork. Now, I don't know if you saw that, Becky, but there is intel attached to that paperwork.
I saw that.
A full conversation. There's a second page to that goes on even further.
Jesus,
now, I am not going to mention his name. Okay, if you really want to know, you'll be able to find it. My purpose to this whole thing is they have found out, and the way I'm reading it, this is the evidence. They're finding out who was with Mark Kessler and part of Mark Kessler's little group. Okay? And who is the one that coordinated for the strike to happen and for people to get busted? Okay? Now, you people... Huh?
You're talking about Cherry Hill and some other incidents, maybe Camp Lone Star and some of the others.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of what I'm talking about, yes. Yes.
Okay. Wow. What do you think we should do to rats like that when we find out who they are?
Shout it from the rooftops.
I agree.
Well, look, this is all that I'm going to say, okay? I'm not going to say no more and I'm not going to say no less until I know the God's honest truth, okay? The man is in good standards. To my understanding, until the last couple days, I thought that he was in good standards, okay? But from what I'm seeing right now and what was sent to me, I would have to say that's not the truth any longer. Okay? And I would also have to say, be very, very careful who you deal with, okay, and who you allow to be into your circles, because this person is a person that was in very good standing, and he was considered a leader of sorts, so we'll just leave it like that. So, I mean, you know who I'm talking about, don't you, Becky?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure now. And now I'm still at work. Just so you guys know, and you might hear some noise in the background. They fucked me again. Any day that I do a show, I should just know that it's going to end up happening to me. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on with Blaine. I have not gotten a response from him. I've actually posted. I've sent him messages. On his wall and in chat, and I haven't gotten a response yet. I mean, this has been set up for a long time. It was a guaranteed thing. I'm not saying that he blew us off. I mean, he might be calling from a different number. Do we have any calls online that we don't know the phone number? Maybe.
Who's on here? 714, you're on live. Is this Bill?
Yeah, hi. Can you mute me until I press 1 to come back in? I'm taking care of one thing right now.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
All right, and I think that we have... Tim, is this you? Tim?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried to speak. I didn't want to speak out of turn, but you had me muted, Becky.
Oh, okay, sir. Go ahead. What would you want
No,
to share?
I didn't have anything to say. I just want to let you know I'm still here. A13.
Oh. All right, love. I'm going to put you back on hold for a moment.
No problem.
All right. All we have is us, Bill, Jim, you, me, and Z. Are you there, Bobby?
No, I am. I muted myself because I was actually talking to one of the doc guys here. So I didn't want you guys to hear everything. So I'm going to call Blaine Cooper. So give me a second. Let me call him, and then I'm guessing that's the way that it's going to be done, I guess. So let me actually mute myself, and then I'll call him, and then let's get the ball bouncing, I guess.
like we have a little bit of a delay getting our guest on the line today. Z-Man, tell me what's been going on, brother. What are you working on right now?
Right now I've been testing out my body armor that I got in the mail for the past week and a half, and besides being in the Stone Age for the past few days, I just been getting some stuff done around here, getting ready, getting some videos prepared, and did a couple of Spreaker shows this morning. That actually went pretty well. And trying to think here. Am I the only one? I mean, maybe you guys may not have been following the movie's release itself, but am I the only one who's pissed off about this North Korea hacking Sony crap?
Yeah, we talked about that last night on my show. This is what cracks me up. Across the news screen it said, hackers hacked Sony and threatened free speech. I had to laugh. I really had to laugh. See, because our free speech is being stomped all over, our First Amendment rights, right down to the bastards in Facebook, putting people in time-out jail, if you will. I'm in jail right now, by the way, folks. That's why you're not seeing me on Facebook currently. But, it's okay for them to impede our rights, but now Hollywood's pissed off and the government's pissed off because Sony's effectively won this cyber attack. America supposedly has submitted to it, and it's all over a movie that was made out of comedy. Now, Z, I don't know if you know this, and if you do, if you remember it, a couple of years ago, the little bastards over there did a video where they actually nuked America and mocking America.
Yep, I remember.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't a problem, but, now there's this problem about a comedy blowing Kim Dum-Young's head up at the end of the movie. So I don't know what the hell to think of that. I just think it's retarded.
I saw the scene. It got leaked online, the scene that made the movie a no-go. And all it is, and you could tell that they filled it with like a leaf blower and just added some visual effects. And what this really takes me off, especially as an amateur filmmaker, because I understand, trust me folks, I understand that the likeliness of me becoming a professional filmmaker is slim to none when it comes to like a famous movie, but I can dream. And that just takes me off as an amateur filmmaker, as somebody who wants to do this for a living. I want nothing more than to make movies, and this kind of stuff happening is just not good for anything, really. But the whole point is like I've heard a bunch of people say, "Oh, well, this is like negotiating with terrorists." What negotiations? We bent to their damn will.
I'm gonna call back, Becky. I'll call right back. Unbelievable.
I just think
some little sawed-off 5'1", insane waterhead boy over there who thinks he's somebody. He's insane.
I really don't understand how one single person is able to subdue an entire nation like that. Just makes no sense to me how people will just blindly follow one person. But they're also a good example. Everybody's like, oh, well, what's the worst that could happen if somebody decides to take over the United States? Well, North Korea.
872-232-72.
Hey. Why are you saying my number?
I didn't say the last part.
Well, don't think none of the parts.
About that. What a retard.
Like, you know who I am. Jesus.
I know, right?
I just called Blaine's house.
Yeah?
His son answered the phone and said he's not home.
Really?
Yeah, he said that he's not home and he doesn't know where he is, and who's all that call?
Really?
I'm not lying to you.
I believe you.
I mean, what reason do I have to lie about it?
Shut up. I know you're not lying, you goober. Jesus, I mean, what's up with this? Has Blaine done this before to you? Hey, Bub, has Blaine done this before to you? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that really sucks right there. That's a big one.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, it was a long, long time ago, and I mean, I don't think it was really on purpose. But I really, really don't know what to think. I mean, I can't even tell you how many things I tagged him in today. I posted on his page, whatever. I mean, I'm not, what? Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to drag him through the mud, so I'm not gonna do that. So let's just march on. You never know. There might be an emergency. Anything could be possible. Anything might have happened. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I mean, I can't make excuses for anybody else.
I know, right, bro?
Yeah, and I mean, I've even, went on a bunch of people's pages. Outside my bed. All right. Yeah, so I can't make excuses for anybody else or whatever, but it's quite disheartening. He told me when he was in Washington, he goes, when I get home, I kind of feel bad about, not being in shows and all that. I want to do your show, whatever. So, and then when I talked to him the other day, and told him what days, and he said Friday's beautiful, perfect, and whatever other words were used, and I was completely giddy about it, I could tell you that. So here I am. And, we have no Blaine Cooper, and there's probably a bunch of people listening that were expecting to hear Blaine Cooper, and, kind of makes me, kind of makes me look bad, I guess you can say, and,
Nah, brother, you don't look bad. You can't control other people's actions. It's not a bad taste in their mouth for you. It'd be a bad taste for him. We got this. We got a show to do. Let's carry on with it.
Absolutely. So here, I want to, there's a couple things that I actually want to talk about that I was going to cover regardless, Blaine Cooper, no Blaine Cooper, whatever. One of the girls that was supposed to be the one that went over to join ISIS and all that craziness, they said the UN said that she was found dead today. So, I was wondering what you guys think about that. I think that's kind of funny. Not funny, ha-ha, but funny in the sense where, this girl was, she ran away, went over there to go join them and be part of them and whatever the case may be. And, this is where she's at now.
Got a lot
Did you guys hear about that? Or?
Got a lot of background noise.
Yeah, I could barely understand you there for a moment. I'm not quite sure.
I didn't get what he wanted to talk about at all.
Oh. Did I get booted?
No, you're still here.
A lot of background noise.
Hello?
You're still here. We can hear you. You there? Can you hear us?
I think we lost him.
I think maybe he was getting bad reception because I heard him screaming hello. So maybe he was getting bad reception where he was because I could hear him.
Yeah, we lost him. It dropped. He's back. Brother,
sorry, I don't know what that.
Got a lot of distortion.
I don't know what that was. But anyway, they say that they found her, and the UN is claiming that she's dead. But they found her dead, and it's kind of it's kind of one of those situations where I don't even know if that story was true or not. To be kind of honest with you, I think it might have been that was generated. People go, we got to worry about people in our own theater, or stuff like that. But I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Fabricated or is that a story or?
You're breaking up, Bobby, really bad. Oh, my
yeah,
God.
really bad.
That fucking thing, man. I just want to fucking throw it off the scope.
I think he was referencing, from what I gathered, guys, he was referencing the situation with the little ding-dong bitch that went over from America to join ISIS, and I believe he said they found her dead. I haven't seen the article, so I can't really give any input on that. Does anybody know anything about what happened there?
No, I actually haven't heard anything about that, but I'm definitely not surprised, not in the least.
Yeah, good riddance.
Probably tried to run away.
The story is out there. I mean, if you look hard enough, you'll find it.
Yeah,
I'll look it up. I'll look it up with the tablet.
To her, you know?
Let's see what we got here. Okay? Yeah, I got my tablet here in front of me, so you guys talk amongst yourself, and I'll let you know what I find in a minute.
So, Bill, tell us how you're doing today, brother. What have you been working on?
I'm doing okay. I'm just taking care of my normal business, and I had one thought about something that was just raised. Just as far as the topic goes, it normally wouldn't matter to me so much, but you're talking about the situation with North Korea and Sony Pictures and they're not releasing. And, the only thing that holds my attention to that whole situation is the interest in digging a little deeper and paying attention to the fact that, that can be a little mark for watching for a false flag of any sort, or having an attention towards them for plausible deniability. It's stuff that I catalog when I view or profile things that I would be interested in looking further into to tag other points of interest too. That's what it means to me.
Definitely. Because there's an agenda there. There's a reason why these things are happening. And then you have to think about the coalition, I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, that is being formed right now with China.
Yeah. Yeah, we had those problems like probably a couple years back now, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, with North Korea. That was escalated, and simultaneously with Iran. And, they a lot of topic and conversation had come up regarding, nuclear concerns and considerations, which obviously, we still talk about the worry with North Korea and the ongoing debate and whatever the hell game is being played regarding Iran's nuclear capabilities. But, so those things just, had me kind of concerned. That at the same time, we had the nukes that were stolen out of Texas, and then the explosion off the coast from the Carolinas. So, I pay attention to those things, and it kind of correlated a little bit with that show that was short running. I think it was 2003 and 2004. They're called Jericho. And, they were looking at this situation with this corporation taking over our country, which was similar to what happened with Jericho, but it was just interesting also that they blamed North Korea and Iran for the problems that occurred where suddenly the nation was being taken over, by something other than the appearance of government. But for such nonsense to occur and for such regard to be given to something without taking the threat serious and having the example be so inconsequential, like a Hollywood movie, that's an inconsequential, but the threat of a foreign nation actually hacking our system, that is consequential, but none of them are properly represented to the scale that they would actually exist in. So what we're seeing is a lie, but what does it actually mean? I don't know yet. It's worth looking into.
You're talking about Sony being hacked. You're talking about a friggin' movie conglomeration, a corporation being hacked. Listen, I watched live, and I believe I sent Jim the link to IP Viking, a Norse IP Viking live feed for attacks, cyber attacks all over the world. And we're being hacked daily. The attempts are being made daily.
Right, but it's not always this definitive claim that that the charaders have made that a foreign enemy government actually performed the hack. People get hacked every day. Corporations get hacked all the time. Oh well, too bad for them. And hey, it can be a problem, but.
Well, my point being is exactly that, brother. It's we're being hacked from Taiwan. Was all over that board. It shows you where the hacks are coming from. But it's not like they hacked into government documents. It was a friggin' movie. And now all of a sudden
I know that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Something's wrong here because a movie isn't an international crisis event, and it was ridiculous when they tried to portray that other thing for the Benghazi. The whole, it's just not acceptable. None of this crap, and I'm watching for something bigger that they're trying to create plausible deniability or an excuseful reasoning for.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. I'm on the same page as you are with that. Something's up.
Oh, I agree completely. All right, so this is what I found.
Okay.
All right, so it says, just weeks after the world learned about the two teenage girls who left Europe to join the Islamic State terrorist group, there are now reports that one of them may be dead. Two girls, Samara Tesinovic and Sabina I'm not very good with these Slavic names. Selamovic made headlines in April when they ran away from home to join an Islamic extremist group. Almost 5 months after they disappeared, the world learned that the two teenagers had joined the Islamic State. Authorities have not confirmed whether Kesovic or Selamovic had died, although they had received information that indicates one of the girls was likely killed in battle. After reports circulated on Australian television late Sunday, a spokesperson for the Interior Ministry confirmed the reports to the local Salzburger News. We also have this information and have checked it, but cannot say with absolute certainty that it is true. But the parents have been informed their daughter could be dead.
Who posted that story?
I'm not exactly sure the name of this page here. I think it's RARE, America's News Feed. RARE.
Because ISIS being so radical, and they mentioned that she was killed in battle. Do you see ISIS having a woman in battle?
Well, what I'm looking at, literally what's in front of me now is one of these girls with what looks like either, I can't see the whole rifle, but it looks like it's either a Galil or an FNL, and she's wearing the whole ISIS get-up, all black with a green tactical, or a multicam tactical vest, and she's like pulling the veil down towards her chin, and she's got 4 gentlemen standing behind her holding AK-47s in a strange pattern.
You remember the vengeance that ISIS went after some of those Syrian warriors, some of whom were women, killing them, and how they went after the women with a vengeance to kill them because they, God forbid, or whoever it is that forbids with them, that a woman would kill a man and deny him from there forever, whatever. But, that makes a lot more sense to me that, that story doesn't make a lot of sense, but that the picture, sure, if ISIS came across an enemy female, they would kill her horrifically. Or however.
they would probably do a lot more than kill them, and that's the disturbing thing about it. I mean, war is hell. War is ugly to begin with. I mean, I have my grandfather served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, so I can only imagine what it's like to go through that kind of thing. But these people are just taking it to a whole new level.
Oh yeah.
I say good riddance. I mean, that's a couple of vermin eliminated, or one at least, eliminated from existence, you know?
I always say nuke it and call it Lake America.
Yeah, right. I mean, what the hell possessed anyone? I mean, I think that, from what I understand, you know, ISIS has done their fair share of recruiting. A large part of it is being done via the internet. But, I mean, seriously, people, raise your damn children. Really. Stop turning them out on society for us to deal with. I don't love them like you do. You know, I don't. I love them because they're God's creatures, and I fight for all of us, but I don't love your baby like you love them. And if they get up in my face or they do some terroristic bullshit in front of me, they're more likely to find a lead covering somewhere in one of their organs, because I don't love them like you do. You know, those girls should have never. First of all, I understand they were young. I know they were grown, but they were young. Parents really need to interact with their kids and find out what's going on in their lives, and you need to do that on a daily basis. You know, and if they start getting led astray by some Islamic pig, you need to be involved in their lives so that they're able to talk to you about some of the things that they're getting involved in. We're seeing a lot of that out of America too, guys. That, you know, not just out of Europe. They're not telling us the numbers that are leaving America joining ISIS, but we do know that we have had some defectors.
Well, we know that they're saying that we have for sure. I mean, how much of that is true, I don't know. It's more likely that the story serves them to cause a problem here stateside and blame it on those kinds of people rather than the enemies that are actually bringing it in, getting our attention and taking action against Americans, while that enemy that they claim that they're going to serve elsewhere is actually becoming more and more situated here.
Yeah, I agree. And it may be a deflection. I believe you're correct.
Yeah,
I believe you're correct. And I see war coming to our soil very quickly.
I'm going to have to start begin to start re-exercising those remote viewing skills of mine, because
I know, right?
With everything being a charade and everything and 1,000 hands dangling scenarios and puppet strings and everything else going on, it's a lot of work to take mis and disinformation and create an actual picture. I have to start looking past some things now because the distractions are distracting.
I agree.
We don't have time anymore.
We really don't. We are out of time.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, and that's terrible. And you know, I do feel for their parents. I feel for the little girl's parents. And I'm not saying that they weren't good parents. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying, people, really, you need to be in touch with what's going on in the lives of your children. Your children are a gift. You know, I never expected to be a young parent, but I made my bed and I slept in it. I raised my daughter. You know, I did some foolish things as a young lady, and the end result was I have 4 beautiful grandchildren and a daughter that I absolutely can't stand as an adult for my own reasons. I don't deal with liars very well, and that's not something I taught her. It's something that she picked up all by her little old self. But I at the end of the day, the children are a gift. And our children are being stolen from us. They're being stolen from us by the likes of this government, by the Communist Party, by the Islamists, by thugs and street gangs. Listen, if we don't rear them and understand that they're temporarily ours and that we've been given that responsibility, this is what we can expect. We can expect our sons and daughters to rebel against us, and we can expect them to join the likes of, Michael Brown or some of these terrorist groups across the country and across the world. So please, and I'm begging you, do something with your children. Be a part of their lives. Interact with them. Teach them right from wrong.
Absolutely.
Give them a shot at
be a part of your kids' families.
Yeah, seriously, and this is what I'm seeing across the board in this country. And a very big part of our problem right now is the lack of interaction, the distraction by toys and games and videos, and parents busting their ass and they can't be home with their kids, but when they do get home, they're still not interacting with them because they're tired or whatever reason. Listen, you should never be too tired to serve good family purpose to your children and your spouse. Sorry. That's the way I feel about it. I'm a single person, but if I were to have a spouse or a partner in my life, I guarantee you I would give something back to them at the end of the day. If nothing else, I would make sure that I interacted and that I put their needs before the needs of what I'm doing now. So, please.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a perfect example of what your parent or what happens when your parents actually have an interest in your life and do things for you. I'm an accomplished musician. I'm a martial artist. I'm a sound engineer. I'm a paramedic. My parents, and the thing was, is I got into trouble a little bit here and there when I was a kid. Every kid gets into trouble, does something dumb, makes mistakes. You know what I mean? Like you can't write your kid off just because he does something silly. You gotta or stupid. You gotta teach him right from wrong and say, you know why you did that wrong. And that's what my parents did. They let me make my own mistakes and gave me the freedom to do dumb things. But they still, when I got in trouble, they explained to me why I was in trouble. They didn't just ground me.
Oh, I always do that.
Yeah.
Anytime my godson, man, I tell you, I'll get up in his butt, but I sit down and I have that talk with him, and I say, look, for every action, there's a reaction, and you are going to be the determining factor as to whether that's good or bad. You're in control of that.
Well, you're not raising children. You're raising future adults.
Yeah, exactly. If you did this, then this is what's going to happen. And if you don't do this, and you do something good, then you'll be rewarded for it. But at the end of the day, man, I am so sick of these idiots that are not raising their children, and they expect me to deal with them or you to deal with them when they turn them out on us. And like I said, I don't love them like you do. I don't. I would never bring harm to them, but if they're going to buck up to me, I'll treat them like anybody else,
Exactly. I mean, I don't have any children myself, but I can just speak from being a child and having, been raised by my parents and knowing that, I turned out okay because of the life I was given. Like I said a couple days ago on the last Spreaker show, my parents are not together, but they lived together, and we still all live together. But my parents are divorced from each other, but they stayed together when me and my sisters were little, so that we both had both of our parents in the house, and they put their own marriage issues aside to raise me and my sisters, because they brought us into this world, and they didn't want to be immature and not I don't know, it's hard to explain, but at the same time it's pretty basic why they did it. I don't know, some people have a hard time wrapping their mind around it. I've caught some. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, let me cut you off for a sec, brother. I don't mean to do this to you, but I've got 479 on the line. 479, is this you, Blaine? Area code 479. Hello? Area 479, you're on the air. Who have I got? Hello? All right, 479, speak up, please. Area code 479, 212 is the first three numbers.
Yes.
Is it
I'm
Blaine?
here. Can you hear me?
Who is this? Yeah, who is this?
My name's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for coming on air. What can we do for you today, Kevin? You been listening in?
Yeah, I was told by a friend about this call, and I was just calling in to hear what you all had to say.
Well, we're kind of covering across the board. It's pretty much open mic and open topic today. We expected Mr. Blaine Cooper to be with us. Right now he's missing in action. He hasn't joined our call yet, so we're talking about current events, obviously, and some of the things that are going on that need to be addressed.
Sorry.
Today, America. Where are you from, Kevin?
No, that's just me, Becky. I just happened to get in my car, and I just happened to undo my mic, and I was clearing my throat at the same time. Sorry.
Oh. Well, welcome back, Bobby. We've got Kevin on the line. We got Z.
Hello,
We've
Kevin.
got
Welcome
Bill.
aboard.
Pardon me. Blaine Cooper is still in action, sir. Hey, Bobby.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
He went back and he found that article on that girl you were asking about. Did you happen to hear and read it?
I did hear Z read it. I'm actually getting it from about 5 different sources, and one of them being Red Ice. So,
okay.
I'm finding it to be legit because some of the outlets that are actually grabbing it and running with it, and then Drudge also reported it. So usually if Drudge reports something, I run with it.
Oh, okay. I got you. All
So
right.
Kevin,
Well, we got Kevin online. Kevin, is this the first time you've called into the show, brother?
Yeah, it is.
Where are you from,
Well,
Kevin?
welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Where are you from, Kevin?
I'm from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Fayetteville. Okay. So what have you heard about the show that prompted you to call in?
Well, I was just it was just a quick conversation I had with a friend today, and they were talking to another friend, and he's the one that told us about it and told me about this call, and so I wrote down the number and called in just to listen to see what you all had to. I knew that they had said something about that it was about things that are happening today and trying to get our country back. So that was something that I am very well for, and am totally a patriot and believe in God and my country. And I myself have no children, but this is something that we have to do. It's something that is our duty to, from the Constitution, what the Constitution says, that we have to stand up and take care of things the way it should be. Our children have no future. If we don't do this, our children have no future, and I can see that written on the wall. And the people that can't see it, then they just need to take their blinders off, because it ain't going to get no better until people wake up and join together. It's just all there is to it. And whether you're a God-fearing person or not, God's got to be there, or it's never going to happen. So I could go on and on and on and I could get up on the pulpit and preach for hours and hours and hours, but that's not going to get nothing done. I mean, people post stuff on Facebook. People, until something is put into action and and really done. And I'm not talking about rioting in the streets. That's not what I'm saying. We don't have to do that. It could be a peaceful thing, and it should be. But
well, you sound a lot like us, sir. That's for sure. I mean, we're the type of people that we're sick of people talking about it, and we want more people to put boots on the ground, wherever the case may be. Like take for instance, we're friends with like Manny Vega, and not even to name names, but plenty of patriots that go out and put boots on the ground everywhere. And we talked to Manny when he was in D.C. and he's standing in front of the White House and he's protesting, and he's outnumbered 30-1, and he's only got 20 people with him because everybody's so scared to put boots on the ground. And
right.
Everybody wants to be an internet patriot and stand behind their keyboard and share information and, be the do-gooder and everything, but they don't want to take action. So we're always trying to figure out what is it going to take for people to stop doing that and actually do something.
Right.
It's going to take their cell phones and internet going away for them to be pissed off enough to do something.
Well, you never said it better. That's fact.
Listen to this, guys. I just found an article on a page called the Washington Free Beacon. It says, DIA, North Korea planned attacks on U.S. nuclear power plants. They're already trying to put out a bunch of propaganda and rhetoric about North Korea already. North Korea dispatched covert commando teams to the United States in the 1990s to attack nuclear power plants and major cities in conflict, according to declassified Defense Intelligence Agency report. The DIA report dated September 13, 2004, reveals that 5 units of covert commandos were trained for the attacks inside the country. According to the report, the Reconnaissance Bureau in North Korea had agents in place to attack an American nuclear power plant. The document states the North Korean Ministry of People's Armed Forces, the ministry in charge of the military, established 5 liaison offices in the early 1990s to train and infiltrate operatives into the United States to attack nuclear power plants and major cities in case of hostilities. One of the driving forces behind the establishment of the units and infiltration of operatives was the slow progress in developing a multi-stage ballistic missile. I actually talked about something similar to this that China has on a previous show with the ballistic missile thing.
It also sounds like a rewrite of what they said that our Middle Eastern enemies had threatened us with.
Yeah, it's
dams and nuclear power plants and all of that with dirty nukes and other types of explosives they use around them. And, they spin it on everything and everyone. And
exactly. It's just to create an air of fear, keep everybody scared and on their toes so that they stay glued to the television set.
If we have resources to handle that stuff, they could never be effective to actually do the job of handling that stuff when 99% of those resources and those individuals are policing the American people rather than any supposed threats that they were actually formed to prevent in the first place. So, if we want to protect ourselves, it can't be their job to do it anymore because it's their job to obviously take us over. So, I mean...
Okay. You know what, Bill? Here, take for instance, perfect person, Eric Holder. Okay? Eric Holder, he's a criminal.
Oh, yeah.
He's a criminal. His ass should be in jail. He should never have had nothing to do with no White House, no politics, nothing. Whoever pardoned him or whatever they did. I'm sorry?
Yeah, if it were a government, he wouldn't.
Exactly. So here we are with this jackass, okay, and he's the one right now that has the power to say, people need to be jailed for this, people need to be jailed for that. How about locking your damn self up? You're the one that's guilty of something. We have the people in place. Okay? We have the people in place to do what we need to do, but we have a pussy for a president that will not do anything. We are the laughing stock of the world right now. They know that we have a president that will not do anything. He's not going to take action. He's not going to defend us. He does not care.
Well, he's doing his job. He's an enemy usurper.
Exactly.
But we're the laughing stock because we're allowing it. Let's get this shit right.
You're right.
Are allowing to be done and have allowed to be done what is being done by this cockroach, Muslim piece of shit. And his...
Well, you're right, Becky. You're right. You know, and the damn shame about it is because there's so many of us, so many like-minded people that all know about this, but then there's the 98% that say, hey, take that aluminum foil hat off your head. Okay? Take that off, you look goofy with it on, you know, blah, blah, blah. They think that we're conspiracy theorists. They think that we're that we're anti-United States, that we hate our country and everything else. People, it's the exact opposite. We love our country. Okay? We love our country more than you can ever imagine. We probably love our country more than you love your kids. Okay?
Absolutely.
But we don't want to see our country going through the failure that it is and has been for years.
Well,
Go ahead. Sorry, Bill. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
I was just...
I mean, we don't... Go, Bobby.
Just go.
Go, Bobby.
No, I muted myself, so I can't say that. Go.
We don't necessarily need these people to see it straight to do what needs to be done. I mean, it would be nice if they did, but, you know, and it's unfortunate that they don't, but the fact is that they don't see, they don't know better. They take what they're told, which means that when the republic is finally restored, they'll take that which they're told, and you know, they'll probably be clueless even within that. But the point is that we don't need them to see it all. But if the shit gets nasty, there's one thing that they will see, and regardless of how big or how small our numbers are now, we'd probably be better off not talking about what those actual numbers are. But the fact of the matter is if the shit does hit the fan, or when it hits the fan, however it goes, is that our numbers will get bigger because these same people who are running around accusing us of having tinfoil hats and not recognizing what a conspiracy is as opposed to a theory, so they can't decipher fact from theory anyway, but the fact is that they will see that they will be amongst the people being attacked by that which they used to rely upon, and that the only people there to protect and save them are going to be us patriots. As much as they've, you know, tried to harm us, they talk us down, they say all this shit about us, they will still be our brothers and sisters among us when the shit's hitting the fan, and they will notice that the only people there for them are going to be us. And our numbers will get bigger at that point. The same sorts of things happened with the Revolutionary War as well. 3%. Yeah, nobody else wanted to step up and get into this, but when they saw their lands and their families ravished, and that they were kicked over and killed the same as any patriot fighting against the British, those sort of circumstances will probably occur here as well, where you have the people who thought whatever, certainly otherwise, seeing that the only safety for them and the only concern for them will be us.
And
but we can never...
They suffer from severe laxity. If you know what laxity means, it's severe laxity. It's careless or negligent, lack of morals or attitude toward discipline. They don't really care. They want to fall in line with lawfulness, not realizing that lawlessness is what we are actually being controlled by.
Well, as a whole population, we have been stripped of the benefits that we are. They've been stripped of these benefits altogether. So the only benefits they're seeing are these little handouts, and that's all they're seeing. These people will certainly come around.
They don't get it. They won't get it until there's no food on their table or there's a knock on the door or blood in the street.
Well, we've talked about immigration and stuff, and how it actually serves us when it's necessary. But when we resolve the situation that we're in, and we own our own money once again, and we have our own prosperity at stake, and the corporations are done away with, and we have companies again. Made America in America will mean a lot more. It'll mean a lot of work. It'll mean that people keep what they earn, but it'll mean a prosperity that becomes a pleasure to participate in, and it's actually worth it to be involved with. And we'll have a majority of participation again that's really healthy and beneficial that people can actually get behind. And hopefully what we'll see, as we've always seen when we were allowed to prosper, is that immigration will become once again what it originally formed out to be, to where it's like, wow, we might have to bring some people in to help us handle all of our prosperity and all of our busyness.
But in a legal manner.
That's the point. Right, but that's the point, to where it's like you say, you have to bring people in.
Right, but with the number attached of limit, there are countries right now, I'll give you one for instance, Switzerland, 1,500 can immigrate, 1,500. When that number every year is met, that number of immigrants have come into the country, it's a cutoff. 1,500, that's it. That's what they'll let come in. Now, I'm not sure if that's per country, but I'm assuming that it is total. 1,500. And you have to come in with a dowry. You have to have the means to support or to contribute to a positive and economic positivity, not a negative. I mean, you can't come in and just draw a bunch of benefits. You have to.
Well, Australia used to do that too.
Well, and that's the way it should be here. And when I ran for governor, that was part of my platform, and it was this: if you're two or more people, you come in with $50,000. The reason being, you have to establish yourself, you have to provide a home, furnishings, you have to have a car, and you have to have enough money to sustain yourself until you are gainfully employed and can take care of yourself and your spouse. If you come in with a family unit, if there's two or less children, you need to come in with $75,000. And it has to be secured money. It can't be, we got that much money. We need to see your credentials. We need to know that you have it. And this is the reason. You're seeing it right now. They breed like cockroaches coming across from the South Americas and Mexico. Their average family has 4 to 7 children. 4 to 7 children. They will not practice birth control because of their religion. So they breed like cockroaches, and we are taking care of them. They are a drain on society. Now, if they don't have money in their possession and they cannot take care of their family, what will a person do, even a good person, when put in a situation that they can't draw a benefit and they can't feed their family? Before they go back to where they come from, they may actually turn to illegal activity. We want to deter that. Am I correct?
Well, of course.
Pretty much.
In California, our agriculture used to be so much bigger than it is. And in fact, there was a separate treaty from these fake federal treaties that every action becomes a treaty with them now, especially under the UN. But there used to be a different type of understanding in California with Mexico that existed throughout all of the rest of the United States. And the passage and alliance, not so much with the whole country of Mexico, but with Baja and with California, was different. And it was an open border in a different sort of a way. And obviously back in those days, you didn't need a passport to go there or to travel and to do any of that stuff. But we didn't have the problem with illegal immigration then, although obviously there was still some of it. There's always been some. But most of it was pretty well regulated in a fair passage, especially during seasons where oranges, whatever. There's so much agriculture in California. They would bring the migrant workers across, and they would go home after that fact. Some people would get green cards and stay for longer periods of time. And sometimes there was even calls down south of the border to bring more people because we had so much going on. But that's how immigration is basically supposed to work, as it serves the nation as it is needed. And it was a very fair circumstance, but we're seeing an escalation where everything beneficial and rightful is not being exercised at all anymore.
Right.
We're just not seeing that. We're not seeing immigration for the purpose of anybody's benefit and at the detriment and cost to all of us. But then again, we have people taking over the nation rather than actually serving the nation.
Excuse me. You're correct, sir.
Hey, sorry for cutting in, you guys. I don't know if you can hear that. Right now, I just had like 6 black helicopters fly over my head.
Wow, really?
Really?
We're looking for you, Bobby.
Are they black?
Did you flip them off?
No, they actually are. That's what I said. They're black. There's like 6 of them.
And
not even bullshit here.
You're in Illinois, right?
Yes, sir.
I heard they had those exercises. They had those exercises in Colorado and in Dallas where they were doing supposed anti-terrorist or DHS drills.
Right.
Has anybody
I've seen that? There was about 20 copters in Denver, in Dallas.
Has anybody had an on-the-ground report from that happening?
No, I haven't. I'm in Dallas area.
Did you see anything like that?
Oh, but I'm
sorry, am I too loud, you guys?
No.
When the window's down.
I couldn't tell.
870 area code. Calling in. 870 area. Keith, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Hey, brother, how you doing today?
I'll be doing fine.
Hey, Keith.
Hey, welcome to the blow-off show. The show that we're known for getting blown off.
We don't know what happened to him, so for the benefit of the doubt,
I know.
maybe.
I'm frustrated. Just being me. I'm just aggravated.
Let's just hope he's safe.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm in contact right now with Tom the Pew, talking to him on Facebook. I don't know if you guys know who he is. Tom the Pew. He's with Bunker Report, the Bunker Report page.
Oh, you're talking to Tom right now?
I missed the name.
I'm talking to Tom. I'm talking to Tom, and actually, we were just talking, and he asked me how much longer we were going to be online, and I said, well, forget about today. I'm hoping for tomorrow. Maybe I can get him to come on 3 to 5 with us, and we could do a show with Tom tomorrow, which I know he ain't going to blow me off. I don't mean to be mean, but what I mean by blow off is at least he'll say, hey, brother, I had to go, or, something. But I mean,
yeah,
I
not
called
necessarily
Blaine's
that they're
house.
maliciously not doing it.
Yeah, I called Blaine's house, and Blaine's son told me that he wasn't there and he didn't know where he was. So, it's not a knock to Blaine. I'm not knocking Blaine whatsoever. Things happen. You never know. So we're just going to say, and maybe next time. So that's all we can do. So I will let you guys know real soon here if Tom is going to be able to join us tomorrow. Any of you that don't know Tom, he is very, very knowledgeable when it comes to prepping and when it comes to weather, like volcanoes and hurricanes and all types of storms. And
Well,
And
if Tom's interested, I'd be happy to do a Spreaker show with him after we get off here if we don't have enough time. So I don't know if he's interested.
Dude, he's not trying to come on today. I know he's with his kid, and I don't think that he had a plan on coming in. I think he was just trying to be nice, is what it was. So I don't by any means think that he could be able to join us today. So, I mean, though it would be nice, because I love having Tom on. Tom's done quite a few shows with me in the past, and he's a super nice guy, very, very knowledgeable. So that's
is Kevin still there? Kevin, are you still here?
I'm guessing that was a friend of yours, Keith?
Well, yeah. He was part of a group
okay.
from Arkansas that I was associated with. Then,
I think he was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
But sounded like a really, really nice guy. Kind of person that we always welcome here, that's for sure.
Well, I don't think he was prepared to talk on the air. That was, I think that was a little,
right.
took him a little swag.
Sure.
Because he's fairly a private person pretty well for the most part.
Tom is coming on tomorrow.
But
sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. My phone went in and out, and I didn't even realize anybody was talking. That's my fault. Tom is joining us tomorrow. Tom LePew, LUPSAQ from Bunker Report, will be on with us tomorrow. He lives in Ohio. I don't know what time zone that is. He's asking me. I said 3 to 5. He said 2 o'clock his time.
Yep.
And I believe so. So tomorrow Tom will be on with us. Tom from Bunker Report.
So that's 4 o'clock my time, right?
I'm sorry, Keith. I didn't mean to cut you off, sir.
Well, you're right. It's 2 o'clock for him. It's 2 to 3 hour for us and 2 for him. He's an hour ahead of us.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that because Tom is one of the I don't know if any of you know who he is because I know Z-Man knows who he is, but I mean other people that aren't really like big into heavy duty prepping and stuff like that may not know who he is. But he has a page called Bunker Report, and he has probably about 15,000 people or something like that like the page, and a lot of people, he has scientists and weather people on there that work with Yellowstone and different volcanoes, and he's just like a wealth. I'm talking about a wealth of knowledge. So, and the last time that I had him on a show with me, this was not overrated, this is not me making up numbers or anything else. I had over 6,000 listens, and I don't even remember how many phone calls. I mean, the phone was just going off the hook that day. So, it's going to be huge. So, we're very happy to announce that Tom will be joining us tomorrow.
Can't wait. I'm really excited about that show.
And anybody that is interested, you can actually look up Tom's YouTube videos. He does videos on weaponry. He does videos on armor. He does videos on prepping, all types of prepping. Today he released one about if you don't have any heat, say the grid goes down, and you don't have any heat or any way to cook. He was telling you about different things that he uses, and then, talking about, what would be a better way, what would be better to use, like kerosene or whatever. And, I mean, he did a really, really good video today. So, Bunker Report, I highly recommend his Facebook and his YouTube page.
Yes, I recommend it too. I think that's actually how I ended up being on Rage Against the Regime. I believe Tom talked about it, and I downloaded the podcast, and the rest is history.
Right. Yeah, Tom. Whenever I ask Tom to, he always, if I say, Tom, can you please repost this show? I think it was worth listening to. He'll post it out to his 15,000 people on his Facebook page and his who knows how many people that listen to him and watch him on YouTube and whatever, and we get some really, really good numbers out of it. So It's really going to be a big show. So, that's going to be a good one for anybody that's listening right now. I don't know. I kind of I feel like a little schoolgirl.
Well, you are a little schoolgirl, Bobby.
Shut up. Okay, so anybody else? What else are we talking about?
Well, let's see here. Well, we were talking about the whole, the whole reason behind why the media is blowing this whole North Korea making threats out of proportion thing, and maybe that whole article.
Well, you know what? This is what I got to say about that. Okay, and I'm going to be real and I'm going to be super honest. Does anybody happen to know who owns Sony?
Isn't it? I believe it's the Japanese, right?
Yes. Yes. You're absolutely right. Do you think, for any chance, that they're going to try to do something against a Japanese company, probably the biggest company in Japan?
Still there?
Yeah, and I would take that threat very, very minimal with a grain of salt. Okay? I don't think that he's a threat when it comes to that, because I don't think that he's willing to back up the spit that he spits out of his mouth. I don't think he's willing to put it back in his mouth.
Well,
I don't find that guy to be any threat. I mean, yeah,
well,
he'll do something stupid, he's pointing missiles at us and this and that. You know what? We could, like Elmer said last night, we could turn that place into a damn parking lot if we really, really wanted to. So you might want to be careful what he says and what he does.
The whole thing, though, is that I look at North Korea. Well, I look at North Korea like a little kid provoking the bigger bully on the block, which would be us beating them. And the whole point is that if for some reason we did decide to attack North Korea, they know they have China's support, because North Korea is attached to mainland China. So if we decided to, just to protect themselves, if we decided to, say, send nukes to North Korea, they would respond, China would respond back. So I don't necessarily, I kind of agree with you, but at the same time I look at it, there's potential for them to provoke us because they know that China will protect them. And if that's the case, I look at it as a little kid running up, doing something and then running behind and hiding behind his mother when you go to retaliate.
He has little man complex.
Oh, he does. I'd say good luck finding somebody tall enough to reach the button over there.
Yeah. He has little man complex. I mean, you got to take everybody as a threat, okay? You can't just go, siphon through it and say, this guy's a threat, this guy isn't a threat, whatever. I mean, you got to take everybody as a threat. But you know what? I mean, for a while now, he's been saying the same damn thing. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. Well, you know what? I think it's about time that somebody actually makes him either shit or get off the pot. Are you still there, Becky? Becky?
Come in, Becky.
Hello, Becky. Bill, are you there?
Old days to Becky. Come in, Becky.
Yeah. What was that? Something squirrel, whatever. What was that on Living Color or whatever? That was funny.
I'm trying to remember.
Bill, are you there?
No. Can I?
Not there either. How about Keith?
Can I chime in here?
Wow, we have a ton of callers online, and Becky is not here.
Holy cow! I had to tend the junior. We don't have a ton of callers. We just have one. The rest of them are regular, but I think he's trying to chime in. Kevin, were you trying to say something? Kevin? Hello?
Ground control, Kevin.
Gun tower.
Hello.
Houston, I think
Yeah,
we're up.
how y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
today?
I'm doing it.
How y'all doing today?
Doing all right. How you doing tonight, brother?
There we go.
Hey, Bill, are you there?
Yeah, I had to jump out and call back in, but nobody picked me up, so I was talking to myself.
I'm sorry.
Well, we all do
I
that
had to
from time to
put Bill
time.
on mute and contain the beast. He was barking.
Nah.
Well, you guys did hear me say that Tom from Bunker Report will be on tomorrow, correct?
Yep.
All right. Party
I can't
on,
wait for
guys.
that.
He's coming on. He's going to join us from 3 to 5 tomorrow.
That's 3 your time?
It's going to be 3 to 5 Central.
I just wanted to make sure.
Awesome.
I'm an hour ahead.
Yeah, so that's going to be a huge show. Like I was telling these people, last time I had Tom on, and I'm not even kidding you any way, shape, or form. Last time I had Tom on, we had over 5,000 live listens. Okay? And I don't even know how many archived, but callers, we couldn't even take all the calls. When we got done, there was still like, I'm not even kidding you, there was still like 10 to 12 calls online that we couldn't even get to.
You know what I call that, brother? That's nipple stimuli.
I call that money in the bank.
Yeah, buddy.
So,
Can I back up and make a comment about this deal for North Korea?
Sure, go for it.
For a couple of things that people don't probably realize and know. Okay. Mao Zedong was the original person, or the person over there was the problem. Okay. Mao Zedong was the one who was the original person that was the person that declared to take all the weapons away from their people. And now that he lost some 20 million people because they refused to give up their weapons. Okay? Now, North Korea has been fighting against South Korea since the Korean War, and that's why they have what they call the demilitarized zone, which is the 38th parallel. Okay?
Better known as the DMZ.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's been sitting there making comments for, I know of at least 2 years, that he's going to come down and start all over again with South Korea that he left off on when the Korean War was over with. So I take very little of what they say out of North Korea as what they're going to do. Okay, all he wants to be control of what's going on, and that's what's happened. But at the same time, the people in North Korea are hurting so badly that he barely keeps his army together because of what's going on over there. And so, as far as I'm concerned, he bites, or he makes a lot of bark but no bite, if you know what I'm saying. So
he doesn't, and he's too damn short and ugly to scare me. I'll tell you that for free.
Well, I think that we should not regard so much these other nations' problems right now until we resolve our own. Because these other nations' problems can help keep us from resolving our own.
Absolutely.
And if we're going to get involved with another country for good, for bad, or for indifferent, whether it's for business or good relations, we certainly can't have the people who've taken charge to represent that anyway.
You know what the problem also is, though, is like, for instance, look at Iraq. Both times when it comes to Iraqi freedom, Desert Storm, whichever one you want to look at, we went in there, we overthrew Saddam Hussein, we established a sovereign government, and look, they're worse off than they were with the dictator. You know why? Because Saddam Hussein kept all those groups of idiots in check. He may have been, it's sad to say, but he may have been a brutal dictator, but he kept the rest of the idiots in check, and he kept things he at least kept things in order. But this all leads back to our economy and the fact that our money is based in barrels of oil when we were taken off the gold standard in the 50s. The reason we went into Iraq in the first place is because Saddam Hussein wanted to sell his oil in rubles instead of American dollars, which would have destabilized our economy and sent us into a tailspin. All these countries that we're invading is just delaying the inevitable, which is our demise.
Well, you have to understand also, brother, that it is logistically, it's warfare. I mean, it's the changing of the guard, if you will. It's changing of positions for that very reason, and it's all monetary. Every bit of it is monetary. Nothing they do is lacking a benefit for them.
You know, you had something that occurred there that was a big deal that didn't get any real reporting at all. And it appeared that Saddam Hussein went in and took over this sovereign country, Kuwait, this extraordinarily wealthy nation with oil reserves that may never be known actually existed, but an incredibly wealthy nation that was not part of the world banking system. And if it wasn't staged, that country would have been restored when we supposedly had gone in and relieved them. But that country never regained all of its wealth, and they're part of the world banking now. So what actually occurred there? Did Saddam, was he a tool that was sent in to take over an incredibly wealthy nation in a port area and swallowed up into a world banking system? Or was Saddam some crazy guy who went and took over the country and blew some things up and caused problems so that we could go in there and wipe his ass out?
Exactly.
What really happened there?
Oh, yeah. You got a point.
We can't allow any of these people taking over our country to give any good reason for doing anything. They can paint all the humanitarian pictures that they would like, but as long as it's in their hands or they're part of the equation and decision, we have to leave these other places in the world to fend for themselves until we reestablish ourselves, period. And at some point we have to find a way to have the military just say no.
Well, they should already have the ability to say no, but another problem with our country is the simple fact is that we've got a bunch of politicians who went to school to be law writers, and they're lawyers, so they know how to put all these laws into this extremely convoluted speech that the average person can't understand, so that they can write the laws and do what they please and interpret them the way they want to, so that it can basically be used to their benefit.
Yeah, but they don't represent us anyway, and either do their laws. They are as fake to America as the Admiralty, statute, commerce, maritime laws are to this land. None of them apply here. They've just been overthrown on us, and attorney or not an attorney, as soon as they want to join that, be enlisted with the foreign invaders, they're a problem. They got to go. They can't be making these decisions anymore.
Well, let me ask you a question, everybody, okay? And it's real simple and easy. See how much people know. Is an executive order that if he puts an executive order in, is that a law?
Well, nope. What's making the executive order?
Yes or no? No, it's simply yes or no.
No,
I don't think so.
Hey,
no,
it's
not.
Okay, so if it's a no, so what's this amnesty deal? Why are we letting him get away with it?
Well, but even beyond that, these people aren't in the position to make an executive order anyway. They're not of our government. So,
I know, but I'm trying to bring up example here, okay? Because again, most people do not understand that it's a corporation, okay? When was the CEO of Best Buy ever made a law that I have to follow?
Well, the only time an executive order could actually legitimately take the form of law would be if you had a legitimate president operating under martial law of the land for whatever the legitimate emergency was that had to declare such, and then an executive order could occur to where it could be enforced as if it were law. But it would have to be a legitimate person under a president, under representing a real government under those conditions. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of bullshit, and it is no law.
Well, but even at that, so Congress has 30 days to ratify it, though.
Well, the funny thing is Obama just signed a bill until I can't remember the serial number for the life of me. It was some long, convoluted serial number, but he just signed a law recently in the past couple of weeks that states that he could declare martial law anytime he wants.
Well, he's been doing that since, 2013 with it. He's been doing that for the NDA bill, because that's how he covered his butt all the time, is with that NDA bill, because with it, he can declare martial law anytime he wants to. But the thing is, he failed to understand he has to ratify the martial law anyway already before, because we're already on martial law.
Yeah.
How can you put us under law, martial law, or any, because we're already under military martial law.
Well, it's like Mengele issuing an order on an overthrown nation. It would just be an additional action within their acts of war. So all they're going to do if they try to make a martial law or any other executive order like that, it's just an additional act of war.
Well, why do you think that, for instance, like, we haven't declared a legitimate war since Vietnam? Everything's always been an operation. It's always been some little thing that we're doing just real temporary, real quick, so that we can get this done and bring democracy to whatever stupid backwoods country we're going into to fulfill whatever ulterior motive that we're trying to fulfill. So, that's really what it comes down to. It's just
which is a changing of guard in its back pockets for corporation lobbyists and politicians. Don't you find it odd that we have more millionaires sitting in our government than any other place in the United States? I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out the bastards are exchanging money, fist over hand.
Well, I was going to get to that. I mean, when Nancy Pelosi took her job, she was worth $3.8 million. Okay?
Right.
In less than 5 years, she's worth $40 million. So explain to me, I'd like to learn her investments to do over 10%.
Especially in this economy.
That criminal organization pays big bucks for the people who join them. I mean, look at, and first off, how did Obama come up with $18.7 million being a community organizer before he even got into the presidency of that corporation? But now I forget the estimates of it's a few $100 million. How could that even occur? But it's probably more like, I don't know, could it actually be trillions since we've ended up having so many trillions disappear?
Obama was a constitutional professor before he was a president, so he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly how to get around it.
Hold up. He was not a professor, and that's been established. He was an assistant, a teacher assistant. He was not a professor.
Oh, I have to blow that. I guess my information was wrong.
But let's talk.
Was being the back room boy at the homosexual bar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Let's talk about when Hillary was running around and complaining because her and Bill were broke. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, we're broke. Excuse me, folks. She forgot to tell you about the $5 trillion Swiss account she has.
Yeah, right.
I didn't say it. I said trillion. I said trillion, folks.
Yeah, I heard you.
That's not even going back to Operation Silver Shovel from Arkansas before Bill Clinton even became president.
Yeah, let's go to that.
They still have money left over from that.
Yeah. Well, weren't they some of the biggest cocaine dealers in the world, technically?
Absolutely.
Probably.
I mean, all those flights coming out of Panama and South America when Oliver North was busy doing whatever he was doing.
Robert Tosh Plumlee.
Didn't it all go through the Clintons? And wasn't it so aptly named when they had their other corporate problems that it ended up being called White Water? You know, of course, they never even had their hands slapped, and people who worked under them went to prison or dead.
Right.
Dead.
Right.
So.
Well, Robert Tosh Plumley, who I would love to bring on the show, he was actually one of the main pilots through the Iran-Contra, through, a bunch of different missions and stuff, and said that he was flying arms and drugs and money and all types of illegal stuff back and forth.
Yep. I know some people that participated in that, too.
Yeah. Well,
not a good thing.
It's just kind of funny how all the major crooks. Okay, here, I live in Illinois. Okay, right outside of Chicago. The last 4 or 5 governors here are all in prison. Okay, or have been in prison because they were doing something against the law and, was taking some kind of bribes, setting up some kind of construction, contracts for places for one company to monopolize, so on and so forth. Do you think that the major government, that there's anything any different going on there? Just at a bigger level? No. It's happening like crazy. And all these people, they get away with it, and it just doesn't make any sense. We have all of the evidence that you can ever imagine. Right here, look at all this paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and everybody tries to debunk it and say, oh, no, that's not what it looks like. No, that's actually this and that or whatever. And then last night, one of you people made it, you said it perfectly. I think it was actually E.T. talking about Trey Gowdy. About a month ago, was looking up to this guy going, oh, my God, if this guy is really, truly what he looks like, this might be the guy that could take us to the next level. I went and looked at everything that he's voted on, that when it gets brought to Congress and how they vote on it. Oh my God, he is a wolf in sheep's clothing also. He has voted on so many things. Actually, he voted for the amnesty to go through. Yeah. So what the hell? I mean, they talk a good game. They make all of us think, that they are going to be the prize package. They're what we want, and blah blah blah. Just like E.T. said it last night, and I think that you said it also, Bill. And I've been saying it forever. Not one vote counts for anything. Okay? They mislead you. They give you a false sense of security and let you think that you have a say in something. Don't fall for it, people, because you have no say in anything. Your vote does not count for anything.
It counts for one thing.
And I stand.
It counts for you surrendering your status as an American and submitting and consenting to be a subject of the District of Columbia, to become a United States Corporation citizen. And that's what your voter registration does for you to have no say while you make marks on ballots.
Well, look at how many times you might go for a city job. Okay? It's happened to me here in Chicago. I went for a city job with the water reclamation, okay? We're sitting there talking to the guy, this and that, and then he's like, who did you vote for in blah, blah? And it's like, what the hell does that have to do, with one thing or the other? If you are not a voter, okay, and you did not vote, you will not be considered. And if you voted the wrong way, like, I don't know if you guys know it, but Chicago is a Democratic machine, okay? This city is pretty much 99.9% Democrat, which I actually think that the numbers are starting to sway a little bit, because downstate Illinois is all Republicans, but the city of Chicago is all Democrat. It's all unions here and, and all that stuff. But, they can go back and look into your history, and they can tell you who you voted for. Because the guy said to me, who did you vote for?
And I was trying to think in my mind, what the hell is he asking me this question for? So then I was thinking to myself, well, the guy that sent me for the job was some kind of politician. He was like a alderman or whatever, and my uncle called in a favor or whatever. So I told him, I said, oh, I voted for blah, blah, whatever. I just told him probably whatever he wanted to hear. And he goes, that's not who you voted for. And he showed me who I voted for. How do they have this information?
Well, the mafia keeps better records than people realize.
No, this is why you think it's called organized crime.
Yeah.
We have another caller on the line, folks. And as soon as I get this board to quit acting retarded, I'll tell you who it is.
Please don't say that word.
Okay, I get this board to quit acting ignorant.
Thank you. I just hate that word. I'm sorry.
We are waiting on area code 602. Who's on? 602.
Karen.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Yeah,
I
was
love it when
listening to
another woman calls in. I always get outnumbered.
Yeah, you were outnumbered, weren't you? No, I don't know who it was, but they were saying that they haven't declared war. Well, actually, they have within the last 2 weeks. HR 758 against Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then this thing with Cuba now, between Obama and Cuba, and let's see, we've got the Russians involved, we've got Cuba involved, and I'm just thinking Red Dawn.
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much.
absolutely correct.
I'm ready for it, sister. That's for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well.
Speaking of all these HR bills.
Crazy in this one.
So, speaking of all these HR bills, I suggest if anybody out there plans on buying body armor, I suggest you do it now because they're passing the bill HR 5344, which would federally ban body armor that can stop rifle rounds. I already bought mine. If you want it, even if you don't want to use it, save it and hold on to it because it'll eventually triple in price and you can sell it for a hell of a lot more money when they do make it illegal. So even if you don't want it for yourself.
Yeah, no,
make whatever you
illegal.
want and quit recognizing these guys for making bills.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to buy mine or am I just going to take it off the bastard I killed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you know what, Becky? You should buy it to use it later on. Even if you don't want it for yourself, I mean, if something really does come down and the shit does hit the fan, I mean, that's going to be something that's going to be a high-priced item.
Sure. And then they're going to dump their biological weapons on you and let you fall on your armor.
That's fact. I do have my skin suit, my gas mask. I do have some armor, but I'd like to get a compression plate to put behind that armor.
I want to get that's one thing I need to get is the company that I went through makes what's called a non-Newtonian trauma pad that goes behind the steel plate so that if you do get hit, it doesn't damage your ribs.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't give any legitimacy to these bills, though. I mean, they're going to pass this, make this illegal and that illegal. You got to start looking at it the way it is. It's like the enemy invading your country and saying you can't defend yourself. We just can't give it the credibility, and we have to take the threat as, well, are we going to do something about it now? Because that's the way it is. It's psychologically, even giving credibility to a bill or law, with regard to them, it's our downfall. Can't be any credibility. We have to just see it as an action. These threats, okay, we're coming after you, and you are not allowed to defend yourself. Well, I don't think so.
Yeah, you try.
We can't even recognize any legitimacy of them at all anymore. And for somebody who thinks that might just be a little play on words and it's not a big thing, it really is a big thing. It's not just a play on words. The entire stand and position of what we regard and what we're facing determines everything. It determines everything.
You know, it also is.
Yeah, our whole nature and spirit of what we do determines on how we regard what we're up against.
Pretty much.
Down here in Texas, their Kevlar's not going to do them any good anyway, because we have what we call snake wranglers. You heard me. Snake wranglers.
No jokes from me.
And these have things that can bite through a man's leather boot. We're not worried.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's nature will get you.
Is that where we
fast.
say, yeehaw?
Hold on, I have one for that. Y'all hang on a second. I've got one for that
Oh,
one,
God.
brother. Hang on,
There
I
she is
got
with
it.
her little toy. It's her battery-operated toy.
Uh-oh. It is going there. It is going there.
Yeah. I told you. Anyway. All right, so this is what we
What, Bobby?
Go ahead. How many different settings you got on it?
Oh, boy.
On that thing you were just doing. Isn't that what you were just talking about?
That one?
What's the lady's name from Arizona again?
Pardon me?
What was your name again? I'm sorry. From Arizona?
Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. And you know what you were saying about, somebody was saying about the laws that they're passing? Well, they don't really matter what they're passing, because after the 13th Amendment, nothing after that was signed or ratified, so anything past the 13th doesn't apply anyway.
Right, or done by a corporation that doesn't have any right to have anything to do with it in the first place. Yeah.
And a corporation that dissolved October 25th. So it's rogue anyway.
Now, Karen, are you talking about the 13th Amendment that's 13, or are you talking about the long 13th Amendment?
The organic.
The organic. Yeah, the 14th Amendment was never signed and it was never ratified.
No. Which one are we talking? No, which one are we? No.
Perhaps we're talking about when Abe Lincoln established the first dictatorship.
Right.
No, Karen, are you talking about the 13th Amendment to do with the slaves, or are you talking about the 13th Amendment that says with the lawyers and the bankers?
The one that says about the bankers.
I'm sorry?
The one about the bankers.
Okay, so that's the law 13th Amendment. You agree. Okay.
All corporations,
that was before the corporations, so that is an actual piece of amendment that actually is law and does stand.
But it enabled the formation of corporations in the first place.
Right.
I'm sorry, what now?
It enabled the formations of operating corporations in the first place.
Well, that was actually the 14th Amendment.
Well, that's what she was just talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't signed or ratified by Congress.
Right.
But the organic 13th has been certified or recognized. It just was never allowed to be implemented.
No, well, that's true. That's why I'm answering the question. Because if you go back in history and study it, it was done all properly because of the fact that the thing that kicker was that they were waiting for Virginia to vote on it, and back then there was no time limit on how long it was before they had to vote on it. So when Virginia finally did vote on it, they did pass it. So actually it is technically a piece of law.
Oh, wow.
That's why I keep barking with people. I keep going around and around with people. Lawyers are not our friends. Lawyers are illegal immigrants. If they have Esquire behind it, they are a legal aid or they're a counsel to the Queen, and that is it.
They have a sworn allegiance to a foreign body.
Council. Exactly. They're part of the Parliamentary Council. That's exactly who they are.
They have a sworn allegiance to a foreign body.
Yep.
You're correct.
Exactly.
Same thing with any
Now, doesn't our Constitution say that we can't be run by a foreign entity?
Jesus Christ, who's trying to call me on here?
And also at the same time, that if you study it, you find out they aren't even supposed to hold a position, a public office, and they can't even get a compensation for it. I mean, you tell me where we go from with all the people who are holding offices, from lawyers or judges and all these other people, and why we're allowing them to do it all.
Well, but no government offices are being held anyway. We need to re-inhabit the republic. And Karen State in Arizona is actually doing something that we, the people, could use to help fast-track re-inhabitation of the republic. Karen, I think it passed even. You could confirm this, but your state was looking to establish that no federal laws can be enforced. It did pass.
It did pass.
Can be enforced over the laws of the state of Arizona or exercise prosecution by federal agents within the state, unless
sure did.
Together with the counties and the state itself, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, see, if we got all of our states to do that, we could much more quickly inhabit the republic and simply nullify those guys and walk over them with the force and power of the states combined with the people.
Well, I'll tell you what, the sad fact is that as a sovereign, establishing or reclaiming the sovereignty of your state as its own country or nation, the sad thing is we don't need to pass those laws in order to exercise that right.
No, but it's nice to have the resources of a state actually attach itself to the people, so that if a fight is to come down, we have all of those resources, and we have the power of the state taking those resources away from the criminal corporation trying to use it for themselves.
Becky?
Yes.
Would you think it'd be a good time for me, a little thing, a cat out of the bag that I talked to you about earlier?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at, and Bobby, I'm going to ask you a favor if we could. Okay? You there?
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yeah, I'm here.
We need to do a whole show on this thing, and like ASAP. Okay? Everyone looks up to, look and do a little research, you'll find a guy named General Hammond. Hamm.
Are you talking about Carter Ham?
Oh, yeah. Becky sent me the information today. I didn't know what she sent it to me for, but yeah, okay.
Okay. We need to do a program on this thing, seriously, because he's got his information, and what he's doing is coming straight from the Joint Chiefs Staff.
He's doing what?
Well, the information that Bobby's got, and I said I'm going to share with Becky. But what is going on is he's been put in place a position for us to take, be able to take this country back as well. And it's coming from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. But it's too long and too much information to get into right now.
When did it happen, though? Yeah. That's what I need to know.
This happened all happened within the last week and a half.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, how about Monday?
I will see if I can set up with the person who knows about it. Yes. What?
Okay. Well, get back to me and let me know. Send me a message on Facebook, and whatever day is good, just let me know, and we'll take it from there. It doesn't even have to be a time where I need to be on. I mean, even though I'd like to be, but Becky can control it, so. You know.
Okay.
Just make sure it's posted so I know.
Well, you know what? It's right now. It is 6:30, so this show is about to not be live any longer. We're gonna end up going into overtime in a few minutes, which I don't mind doing. If you guys want to keep the call going, we can keep the call going. But nobody else will be able to call in as of this point. So if we have anybody online on the phone that is waiting or anything like that, and they want to talk and get on with us right now, you must press that 1 on the button. If not, it will probably not allow you to become part of the call any longer. It's one thing about Blog Talk. So.
Hey, Keith.
Yes.
Keith, regarding this information, can you email the detailed report instead of just that page on him to Becky, and she can get it to some of us so that maybe we can prepare for that call?
Well, Becky and Bobby have all got a good chunk of the information. And by the way, he has his own blog too.
Right.
So you get a lot of information from his blog as well. So that, you know.
Is his blog from him directly or using his name?
No, it's from him directly.
Yeah. The only reason I ask is because there have been a lot of different generals whose names have been used, but they haven't actually spoken for themselves.
No, this is a general that was I can never pronounce the place or the deal. It was the deal that Hillary makes the comment. Well, what's the difference? What makes the difference? He was the head honcho, and he was retired because he knew too much information. Okay, so and he and the Joint Chief Staff are the one who are working with him now directly from the higher up. So this is coming from sources otherwise, and what he wants to do is coming from as high as up we can go right now. And by the way, Obama knows this is going on, but he just can't stop it. It's out of his control.
Hey, Bill.
Well, and he figures that his private army's probably big enough to fight it at this point.
Right.
Yep. I think what you were talking about, Bill, is when people were using General Vallely's name or Valley or however the hell you pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced 3 different ways.
Paul Vallely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met Paul a few times.
You know, it kind of scared me about him because a lot of people were saying he's a Satan worshiper and, you know, stuff like that. But Colonel Riley seemed to think that he was a good guy and, you know, put a lot of trust into him. So, I don't know. I mean, you can't believe everything you read. But then again, it's the internet, so you got to believe everything you read.
Yeah. I actually worked his admission booth in Scottsville when he had a speaking engagement at one of the resorts there. I liked his family and all. I had hopes for him, but I didn't see. I heard him speak a lot, and you know, I've had some conversations, but I haven't seen enough action, and there's enough question. I can't say entirely. I like the guy that I met a lot.
Right.
But I saw that a lot more was being spoken for him than was being spoken by him. So I don't know. I guess we'll see on that one.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's why I said what I said because, you know, a lot of people kept saying his name and, you know, he had something to do with this and that, but you never heard it come out of his mouth. Only time I ever heard him say anything is he was like on Fox or MSNBC or, I don't know, somebody's show one time, and he was actually talking about it, and then I was like, okay, now I can take it from the horse's mouth, but before that, you know, people just kept mentioning his name and using him as, oh, he's the leader of this. I never heard him say that.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, just like Maddox, everybody was trying to say, you know, Maddox is going to lead this and this and that. Well, Maddox never came up and said that.
Nope.
People behind his name said it, but he never did. So.
Nope. I remember that.
Yeah. I know that.
You know what? Go ahead.
I know that Paul was making the round, but I was wondering if he was. Which, given what people would be elected into, would be serve no point. But it seemed almost as if he were politicking for something. I was wondering what he was going to actually be running for, or if he was going to step up that way. But he was very cautious in his speaking. It didn't step into. I mean, he's gone more to talking about taking our country back lately, but I haven't heard him declare a position in it. Like what it sounds like, Keith, you might be insinuating that Ham is.
You what now? You got me lost here.
Well, you were referencing Ham as actually wanting to take a lead against solving this particular problem.
Well, he already has. This is become very clear through different resources I have.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I haven't looked into that. I've seen that said about Paul, General Vallely, but I've never heard him actually say that himself. Until recently, he's been speaking up that America should assume that responsibility, but I've never heard him step in to say anything about wanting to lead it, and I haven't actually heard it from Ham, so I'm really interested in seeing the information that they're saying is available, because I've heard talk of what you're talking about. I just haven't seen any details, real details.
Bobby's got it, and Becky, if you go to a website called on Facebook, and you do 50 states, and it's numbers, okay? 50 states support network. All the information that we have at this point is there in front of you, okay? And there's going to be, I'm sure, as we get developed more of this, there's going to be a lot more that's going to be able to be developed, because we're trying to do what we can to see if we can get in touch and do what we need to do, and get some support from him directly of how we can help him, if you know what I'm saying. So,
okay, on Facebook it's 50, the number 50,
right?
50, one word.
No. Is this 50 states?
Yes.
Support network.
That's TPORT. Okay. Let me look at it right now.
The bad thing about this is it seems like anytime any one of these guys come forward, they have an agenda of their own. Like you were saying, maybe somebody wants to run for some kind of political office, or whatever the case may be. I read this guy's bio earlier. See, when Becky sent it to me, I had no idea why she was sending it to me, because there was no other attachment. It was just like a bio on him. And when I read it, I was really, really impressed by reading his bio, But then I was like, well, but what was the whole thing behind it? I really hadn't the clue. So now I understand why she sent it to me.
I'm looking at the page right now. I don't.
Just scroll down. It's there because Becky's found it. Yeah, earlier when I talked to her.
No. I saw that. I looked at that, but I mean, it doesn't. I'm looking for a declaration from the man himself. I don't see one.
That's on his. Yeah, I think that's on his blog or somewhere.
I see a Facebook page with 100 likes, and for the general information, the contact is a private person who is referred to as Lady Lib,
right?
At inbox.com, and I don't know. I don't feel the weight. I guess I'd have to see more.
No, we can get more information. There's a pile of it there if you scroll through it all. On the whole thing. But this was all done just before Lincoln was shot. Okay, so that's why reason most people don't know a lot about what's going on, this part of it.
Well, Lincoln started a lot of what he ended up getting shot for anyway.
Exactly.
So, Okay, there's a website that links to it. That page you talked about?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we should look into this, but
I got it. Bill, type in General Ham on Google, and it's being reported by Tea Party Tribune that General Carter Ham is going to be the man to take down the Obama regime.
Well, he needs to get his ass busy.
They're saying that point-blank 4-star General Ham answers directly to the President of the United States, but he's not happy with what's going on. He was also the one that has been handling some of the Benghazi stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. He's also handling cases against military corruption. If you look him up on Google, there's a ton of information there, and it's saying that he wants to clarify a lot of things. So, and this is all stuff coming from him, not from third parties or whatever. I mean, there's a ton of different
what you just referred to was posted in the Tea Party Tribune.
Right. Yeah. No, that's what I said. That's one place. No, I know that's not a good, reliable source. But what I'm saying
it says General Carter Ham, the man to take the Obama regime down, but will he? And then, yeah.
Right. But I mean, I kept going through all the different posts, and I've been reading a lot of different stuff from a lot of different places, and there's a YouTube video of him standing there talking.
Yeah. No, I've heard him speak before, and he was actually pretty bold. He actually spoke out against a lot of the administration, regime, whatever it is.
Right.
But making a declaration to actually take them down and to organize against them, I haven't heard any of that. So that's what I was interested in finding more out about.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I didn't hear anything about it either, but I mean, now I'm like vastly interested in it. I'm on Google as we speak, and there's like, a ton of information that I'm actually, gonna study for the next 2 days or something. But there is a couple YouTube videos where it's saying that he's actually addressing military people when the video was actually filmed. And I guess it's addressing him saying that he's not happy with Obama and wants to take him down. So, I mean, that's what YouTube videos are saying. So I don't know.
Well,
I can't watch them on the call.
He has the same capability that you and I have to make a citizen's arrest when treason is so blatantly present. And my deal is you're that close to that piece of shit. You know he's not eligible. Have the ability, then why hasn't he already arrested?
Right.
That's my whole point. That's what I'm thinking. Where's the validity?
I actually think that some of these guys are more guilty of espionage, which has more consequence attached to it than treason, because they can't necessarily be rightfully claimed to be an American in the first place, and espionage doesn't even afford them the quarters that treason does.
You're correct. And that just strengthens my argument. You're correct. Because it would be espionage. It wouldn't be treason. Treason would validate his eligibility, which he is not. So we have a high-ranking military officer that's taking orders from this shit, this Muslim cockroach, and he's not arrested. Why?
Well, but all of these guys who are redeclared under the corporation technically should have suffered the consequence of espionage instead of treason. That's my whole point about regarding these guys, is not even giving them the honor of being worthy of treason, but simply for espionage. Foreign invaders. And not to give them anything more than that. The whole process, the due process, it doesn't apply to them.
Right.
All the more reason for us not to sit on our ass and allow it to happen. They're enemies of the people. They're enemies of our country.
Yeah.
Should we not already be in there taking them out?
Well, we certainly should be standing on what you just said. At least the consideration of what we're up against needs to be honest. We can't give them quarters that they don't deserve or rightfully are entitled to.
Correct.
So I think we're a little bit too late.
When an enemy has crossed into our military is there for that reason, more than any other reason in the world that they've been formed, is guard and protect citizens of this country. So why the hell have they done that?
Well, because I think that perhaps, given the circumstances, they need to see us stand up. Otherwise, we are actually at the point of surrender. And who's the military to represent under surrender? We have to stand up and say we haven't surrendered, we do not consent, and there's a people then again for the military to actually come up, step up and defend. And I think that they've done everything in their power with guys like Ham making some of the statements he has on Fox News and other things, and people like him to get us to actually do that.
You know what? If he did that, the people, okay, I'm not talking about Patriots, because Patriots are already, we already know what direction we want to head in. But if somebody like that stood up and they made some videos that were viral, okay, and somebody like him standing up and saying Obama is a crook, he's a criminal, he's this, he's that, we need to stand up, we need to, go against him, blah, 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 and I'm going to lead the way. Watch how many people that didn't want to do anything before because they had no idea what to do and didn't want to believe or whatever. I'm not going to make excuses for them. They got enough excuses. But I bet you a lot of those people would actually do the flip.
Well, more people will stand up more quickly if they recognize that it's not the government they're standing up against, but a
Exactly. Exactly.
My phone's about to die, so I'm going to have to call back in.
I just have a glance over at the television, guys. If any of you guys are interested, and any of the listeners out there are interested on CNN, they're about to do a